James Cousin will now present the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Comprehensive Report.
Thanks, Holly. So I want to talk to you about our Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Report. I'm very excited. We've been doing this for about less than 2 years. When we started our journey, we created a plan. We created multiple committees to execute that plan, and today I'm going to share with you the results of the hard work that our staff and our board has done over the last year. So how do we get started? So like most organizations, with the death of George Floyd, organizations began to really look at their DEI efforts, and we did the same thing. Past President Dave Wyatt, Linda Groh, approached us and said, look, we want to create a comprehensive plan. We want to do more than just walk the walk. We want to talk the talk. So we created that plan in June of 2020, and in July of 2020, the board of directors approved it. So before I get started, I just want to talk more about how our DEI can influence perioperative nursing. And I love this quote that was from Natalie Vaughn. And she stated, healthcare organizations and leaders have a growing responsibility to improve DEI efforts, not only for their employees, but also to better serve patients and their families. DEI has been a recent focus for businesses and organizations, but none stand to make a greater impact than the healthcare industry, as it directly affects patient health outcomes and quality of life. And we're all aware of that with COVID, of how there's been disparity of care, and we have a great chance to improve that. So as I indicated, our DEI plan is very comprehensive. We address many factors, and you can see here on the screen, we're looking at our membership, our board of directors, patients, our community that we serve, the AORN Foundation, staff and leadership at headquarters, and we're also now looking at the LGBTQ+ community. So let's jump into the first one, DEI membership. You can see from the HRSA study that in their 2022 study, less than 15% of our nurses in the operating room are people of color. However, this great organization has almost doubled that. In 2020, you see our numbers were 25.76%, and just the efforts that we've done in 2021 raised that bar a little higher, where we're just about at 26%. You can see some of the accomplishments that we've done over the year. One, we're tracking race on our application form. Our members continue to identify themselves. It went from a little less than 4,500 of members identifying themselves in race categories to almost 18,000. If you've gone to any of the topics here at Expo, as well as back in 2021, you can see there's more education now on DEI, and you can see that we've done other things such as publishing articles, looking at our website to look at our images, and just various things that we can do to improve our membership in regards to DEI. As far as board of directors, and you can see in the last 10 years, we average about 9% on our board of people of color. And you can see last year that number went to 16.7%. Well, I'm just proud to share with you now that our board of directors are now at 25% people of color. And I know that Jeffrey and the nominating committee have done a great job of trying to improve those numbers, and so I'm excited to see what's going to happen in the future. We've done a lot of work with the nominating committee, collaborating with them. Our board has created several committees. One is a DEI board committee, as well as a DEI task force that includes members of our membership in regards to that. We've done a lot of other things as far as our board members themselves. They've also presented on DEI efforts. And as I indicated, the nominating committee has done a great job. You can see in the past we had 7% of our candidates in 2021 people of color, and now we're at 15%. In regard to the community, our headquarters have always done a great job of working in our community, and we've done that for years. But we realized that, again, to make an impact, we need to also look at those underserved. And in 2020, we did that. We did food drives, and those food drives impacted 600 lives. We went to a local elementary school. It was primarily Latinos and blacks, and we're able to feed them. Well, that committee is very aggressive, and they wanted to double that. And you can see that in 2021, we went to 2 different elementary schools, as well as we did a backpack drive in Orlando, working with our Orlando chapter. As a result of those efforts, 1,400 students, elementary students, were impacted from the DEI group. And so we're very pleased, and obviously their goal for this year would be 2,000, so we're going to keep ramping it up. So great work from that group. We also contribute to a local organization to try to get more Black students and Latino students to become nurses, and we provided scholarships in that regards. This is probably the one area that means the most to me, and I'm sure the rest of you guys, is to how can we improve disparity of care, how we can reduce those numbers and make it equal for everyone who goes to the hospital have the same success. And so one of the things that we're really looking at is the DEI from a patient standpoint. This committee, there's 3 goals. One is to educate perioperative teams on the impact of healthcare disparities. 2 is to develop new and enhancing products of how that relates to DEI. And then finally, improve the care experience and outcomes of each patient. The goal is to just, again, educate our nurses, educate our colleagues, and how we can improve those outcomes. Some of the things that we've done is we've created a position statement that was approved earlier this year. We've published numerous articles in the journal and Outpatient Surgery. Fiedler created an unconscious bias education booklet, and also we've submitted a technical paper in our journal. Next, our separate organization, the foundation, they also wanted to get involved with DEI. The goal is really to continue to attract students into our field, especially those of color, and to allow scholarships and try to represent our community. They're also to increase the diversity of our board of trustees. And you can see on the right some of the key accomplishments. Again, they exceeded themselves in regards to their goals. They've awarded to 38% people of color in scholarships. Their board is more diverse, and they continue to do great efforts. One of the things they did with our AORN, and over our 70 years, we've had 1 Black president. Her name is Barbara Edwards, and that foundation board of trustees said, let's create a scholarship in her name, in her honor. They created that last year, and this year, they've raised already over $50,000 to provide scholarships for people in color. Staff, we also want to make sure we do a better job in our diversity in staff. When you look at the United States Department of Labor, 22% of our workforce are people of color. So that's sort of our bar, our goal. When we first started down this journey, we were about 12%. Last year, we ended at 15%, so you see we're steadily starting to increase. In regards to leadership, is one thing you really want to look at in an organization. You can see we've gone from 10% in 2020 to 15% in 2021. Finally, on staff, we have about 30 nurses. When we first started this journey, 0% were people of color. We're now at 9%. The way we're able to improve those numbers, one, we started tracking, so wherever you're at, we wanted to have a baseline. When we recruit now, we recruit in various, we just don't place the ads in Indeed or some of the job boards, but we go beyond that. We look for minority organizations, publications, just to put the word out, and hopefully we'll attract more people. And we also did an equity pay. So not only do you want to recruit folks, but you want to retain them. And we did an equity pay audit, and we made adjustments to our staff salaries. We've done a great job at headquarters. Our retention rate last year was about 8%, and I believe part of the efforts that we've done has been able to retain our employees. Finally, last year, our phase 2 of our DEI plan was to then expand to the LGBTQ+ community. And we started that committee last year around May. In June, we were able to recruit enough volunteers and staff for that, and we did Pride Month. They've created plans for this year. We've also looked at our images on our website and articles, and the things we're really going to work on this year, what I'm really excited about, is how can we have a better care for transgender patients. They're going to be working a lot on various educations and articles of how we can improve those outcomes for transgender patients, as well as look at things as far as a community, and one of the things we'll be doing something in Pride Month. Here are other accomplishments that we've done in our DEI program. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can see we now have a website. If you go to our website into the About section, you scroll down to the bottom, you will see a tab that says DEI. If you click that, there will be a lot of resources, articles, just accomplishments that we've done. This one area has really excited the millennials. We've recruited more at headquarters, and millennials are really into our DEI efforts, and they found that that was something that was refreshing. We've also done things even here. We've had focus groups where we've now had just open dialogue, regardless of your position, but just to, we all want to get along, and this DEI plan has allowed that. Our CEO, Linda, signed a pledge last year with other Colorado CEOs on listen, learn, and lead. She accomplished that, and it just demonstrated her leadership as well as AORN position in our DEI journey. They appointed me last year to be the Chief Diversity Officer, so you don't really see that in a lot of nursing organizations. So again, it just shows you how important that is to our organization. And you can see other things that we've done throughout the year to demonstrate that DEI is important to us and it's not going to disappear. So finally, I just want to give a big thanks to the folks who were really doing all the work behind the scenes. These are the various committees. The bold letters are the leaders of that group. And again, this is for 2021. Some of the folks will be new for 2022. But you can see it was a lot of folks involved in our efforts. We look forward to including our members in this journey. And a special thanks to my boss, Linda Grohl, who's just been an excellent supporter and friend in going down this journey, as well as Holly. Holly, we meet on a lot of times just discussing how we can improve on our DEI efforts, as well as my partner in crime, Jess Bohm. So thank you very much.